Okay, here's a video on long division. We have our divisor outside, we have our dividend inside, and then our quotient is going to be on top here. So I have to ask myself, how many times does 9 go into 7? It doesn't. So I'm going to put a placeholder here above the 7, so I know there's nothing that goes in that spot. 9 goes into 73. How many times? 8 times. 9 times 8 is 72. I'm going to subtract and bring down my 1. Then I'm going to bring down my 2. How many times now does 9 go into 12? It goes in 1 time. Notice I'm putting this right above the place value of the last number that's in my number down here. So 1 times 9 is 9. Now I'm going to subtract, and I get 3. Okay, at this point, I have to add a decimal point, both here and in my answer. The reason for that is I don't have any way of moving on from here unless I add a 0. And I know that 732 by itself without this is the same as 732 and 0 tenths, right? I'm just adding a 0, and then I can bring that 0 down. And now I'm also adding a decimal point in my answer, so I know that that is where I started adding zeros, and I can move on from there. So now I can bring down this 0 here. How many times does 9 go into 30? The answer's 3. 3 times 9 is 27. I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 3 again. Now I know my teacher told me I need to go to the hundredths place. Right now I'm in tenths place, so I'm going to need a number here and one in the thousandths place to then be able to round my number. So that means I'm going to need at least 2 more zeros. Okay, I'm going to bring this next 0 down. 9 goes into 30, just like we said. 3 times 9 is 27. I'm going to subtract and get 3 again. Now I have to bring down this other 0. 9 goes into 30, 3 times 9 is 27. And you can see that we have a repeating decimal here. What that means is that this 3 is going to go on forever and ever and ever, and I can keep on bringing down zeros, and I'm going to keep on getting this 3 for my answer. Okay? Now, I asked you guys to round this number, so the number is, my answer is 81.333. Now I wanted you to round it to the nearest hundredth place, and the hundredths place is right here. So I need a number to be able to look next door to see if I need to raise the score or let it rest. So I'm going to look at my number, look next door. Is it 5 or greater? If it was, you would raise the score. Is it 4 or less? Then we're going to let this rest. So the 3 is less than 5. It's 4 or less, so we're going to let this 3 rest. So my answer would be 81 33/100ths. Okay? Another option of what you can do, because this number is repeating, you also could just say, without rounding it, you could say my answer is 81 33/100ths and put this line over top to show that it's going to repeat forever. So this right here is my rounded answer. Okay, and this right here is the answer with the repeated decimal. Okay, if I wanted to check my answer here, I could take my 81 33/100ths, that's repeating, and multiply it by the divisor to see if I get my dividend. So I would set that up as, so I'm going to check my answer. Okay, now I'm going to multiply 81 and 33 repeating times 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 9 times 3 is 27, 28, 29. 9 times 1 is 9, 10, 11. 9 times 8 is 72, plus 1 is 73. Now I'd put my 2 decimals, 1, 2, so I need to move over 2 spots. Okay, now I can see my answer is 731 97/100ths. Because this answer is rounded, right? It's not repeating. My answer here is also going to need to be rounded to make sure I get to this next number. So my answer was 732. That was my dividend that I started with. And here my answer is pretty close to that. If I round it up, I would get 700. and 32. So because I rounded my answer here, my answer for checking my work is going to be just a little bit off, but you can at least see that it's a close enough answer here. Okay? If you have questions, let me know.